What is Sonder? Sonder is defined as the profound realization that every other person you see or meet has just as complex and vivid a life as you do. What effect, if any, does being raised in a small town have on Sonder compared to being raised in a city? Those who grow up in small towns are often looked down upon for their xenophobic tendencies and provincial, quaint worldviews. By contrast, those who are raised in cities are often exposed to broader aspects of human culture. But as a function of the mass concentration of humanity present in large cities, a dehumanizing tendency arises. Where xenophobia may once have taken root, a lack of Sonder replaces it. Xenophobia in a way still persists, however, where fear of foreignness in the cultural sense may be less prevalent. Fear of otherness flourishes. Now, in this context, otherness could be best defined as deviation from the norm, or more specifically, expected behavior and thought. Truly discordant thoughts and behaviors are quickly vilified, dismissed, and feared. Unpredictability is inherently frightening, and this leads to a kind of homogeneity of thought and behavior that stifles true individuality and free expression. This is true even in the most individualistic societies in the West, such as Canada, the United States, and the UK. An ever present numbness and coldness towards others, especially strangers, undergirds the socialization of those raised in cities. Although this may be born primarily out of a sense of self preservation and safety, it nonetheless bleeds, unconsciously, into other facets of an individual's personality and countenance towards those they interact with. Ultimately, this is the root cause of the erosion of Sonder that may be less apparent in a small town. When this paucity of Sonder is coupled with the prevalence of the fundamental attribution error, a savage reduction of fellow human beings occurs. Not only are others not understood to have as complex and rich a mental life as the individual observing them, they are further caricatured by causal heuristics composed of fundamental personality traits and inherent characteristics as the cause of most, if not all, thoughts and behaviors. The grace the observer permits themselves in their own self reflection to retrace their own motivations, responses, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors to the manifold and intricate causes, both internal and external, that the observer is conscious of, is not extended to the other. Compounding this is the compartmentalization of social circles common in cities. Class divides and cultural self isolation are more prevalent in cities as compared to towns, leading to further dissociation of a given individual from another. An affluent man may often struggle to fully grasp the causal and personal factors that may contribute to a homeless man's set of circumstances, for example. Stark disparities between rich and poor are more pronounced in cities, leading to an erosion of Sonder. Class divides are often less pronounced in towns. Furthermore, cities tend to culturally self isolate, with those of disparate cultural backgrounds forming quarters within cities, a phenomenon which is less prevalent in towns. A lack of real cultural and social integration in cities likely also contributes to the erosion of Sonder in the individual. The often touted multiculturalist character of large cities then may be better conceptualized as cultural cohabitation, leading to many individuals staying within their own historical cultural milieu. It could be said then that xenophobia and fear of otherness, as previously described, are really just manifestations of the same underlying psychological complex, namely, a definition of oneself as part of a particular in group as compared to an out group. The qualifying factors may be very different between them, but the end result is the same. That is, the clear definition of a given individual's self identity and their place in a cohesive worldview. Conscious control and reworking of these often unconscious mental processes seems to be the only way to truly strengthen one's sense of Sonder, seeing others more as their true and complex selves.